Welcome to the Hurricane and Storm Center with our comprehensive marine and tropical weather update. As we head through tonight and into tomorrow, August 18th, 2026, atmospheric and oceanic patterns across major U.S. coastal waters are presenting notable regional variations. Across the Gulf of Mexico and off the southeast Atlantic coast, conditions remain relatively tranquil under the dominance of a broad surface high-pressure ridge centered offshore Louisiana. For most of the Gulf, winds are light to moderate, keeping seas gentle at 1 to 3 feet, with localized chop up to 4 feet near the Florida Straits and Yucatan Channel. However, meteorologists are closely monitoring a surface trough along the western Gulf Coast, extending from Tampico to Frontera, which continues to trigger scattered convective thunderstorms and localized wind gusts. Along the west coast in the eastern Pacific, moderate to strong northwesterly winds persist, maintaining steep, long-period swell that continues to generate hazardous surf and rough conditions for near-shore navigation across California waters. Given these dynamic marine conditions, vital advisories remain in effect for commercial mariners and coastal fishermen. Vessels operating in the western and central Gulf must keep a vigilant watch on high-resolution radar, steering well clear of deep convective cloud clusters developing late in the afternoon to avoid waterspouts and sudden localized squalls. Offshore and nearshore vessels along the west coast should avoid anchoring in shallow shoals and navigate narrow inlets with extreme caution due to unpredictable heavy swell sets. All vessels are strongly urged to keep their automatic identification systems active and maintain a continuous 24/7 watch on VHF Channel 16 for immediate NOAA/National Weather Service marine hazard broadcasts. Turning to tropical cyclone outlooks, heading into the latter half of August 2026, the North Atlantic Basin has seen an unusually quiet stretch, having logged only 3 named tropical storms: Arthur, Bertha, and most recently Cristobal, which dissipated on August 13th, with 0 hurricanes to date. This pronounced suppression is primarily driven by an intensifying El Niño phase, which continues to generate hostile upper-level vertical wind shear that disrupts tropical convective organization. While the National Hurricane Center is currently tracking 3 tropical waves stretching from the eastern tropical Atlantic to the central Caribbean Sea, their convective signatures remain poorly organized. The NHC currently forecasts a near 0% probability of tropical gyrocyclosis across the Atlantic Basin over the next 7 days. Nonetheless, with climatological peak activity approaching around September 10th, continuous monitoring remains essential. We will keep you updated with the latest model runs right here on the Hurricane and Storm Center. Thank you for watching, stay safe, and have a good evening. We're tracking the latest weather conditions across the United States, including the mainland, coastal areas, and U.S. waters. Our focus is on conditions tonight, August 17th, and tomorrow, Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. The main concerns include thunderstorms across the central and eastern United States, locally heavy rainfall, damaging wind gusts and isolated tornadoes, extreme heat across the west, tropical thunderstorms across Florida and the Gulf Coast, and the potential for tropical cyclone development across the Atlantic and Pacific in the days ahead. Current conditions. Weather across the United States continues to be influenced by a broad area of warm, humid air across the south and east, while upper-level disturbances and moisture convergence are supporting thunderstorms from the plains through the Midwest and Great Lakes. Across the west, high pressure remains in control, maintaining hot, dry, and mostly sunny conditions. In Hawaii, Tropical Storm Lala has moved farther west, away from the main Hawaiian Islands, and the direct threat to Hawaii is gradually decreasing. The National Hurricane Center is not currently tracking an active tropical cyclone in the Atlantic, although several tropical disturbances remain under observation. Areas of disturbance being monitored. In the Atlantic, a tropical wave is moving across the eastern tropical Atlantic. This system will continue moving westward over the coming days. Warm ocean temperatures and abundant tropical moisture could support additional thunderstorm development, but there is currently no strong indication that the disturbance will rapidly organize into a tropical cyclone. The Caribbean and Bahamas also remain areas to watch, especially as tropical activity typically increases later in August.
In the eastern Pacific, disturbances off the coast of Mexico continue to be monitored, although there is currently no clear signal of a system posing a direct threat to the U.S. West Coast. In the central Pacific, Lala is moving away from Hawaii, and the direct threat to the main islands has decreased significantly. Regional weather forecast, Northeast. Tonight, generally quiet conditions will continue across much of the Northeast, although scattered showers and thunderstorms may develop in parts of the region. On Tuesday, August 18th, temperatures will remain warm to hot, with highs generally in the upper 80s to lower 90s across many locations. Increasing humidity could make it feel significantly hotter. A few afternoon and evening thunderstorms may develop, especially across northern and western areas. Along the northeast coastal waters, small craft should remain alert for thunderstorms capable of producing sudden strong wind gusts and rapidly changing marine conditions. Regional weather forecast, Southeast. The Southeast will remain hot, humid, and stormy. Tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms will continue across Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and the Carolinas. On Tuesday, temperatures will generally reach the upper 80s to middle 90s. Some locations could experience very high heat index values. Afternoon and evening thunderstorms will be common, especially across the Florida Peninsula and along the Gulf Coast. Some storms may produce torrential rainfall, frequent lightning, and strong wind gusts. Localized flooding remains possible in urban and low-lying areas. Across the Gulf of Mexico and Florida coastal waters, thunderstorms could produce sudden wind shifts, reduced visibility, and locally rough seas. Regional weather forecast, Midwest. The Midwest will remain active. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms may develop or move across Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and surrounding areas. On August 18th, warm and humid conditions will continue to provide ample fuel for thunderstorms. Some storms could produce heavy rainfall, damaging wind gusts, and hail. If storms become more organized, the threat of widespread straight-line winds could increase. Residents should closely monitor National Weather Service warnings throughout the day. Regional weather forecast, Great Lakes. Weather conditions across the Great Lakes may change rapidly as thunderstorms move through the region. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms are possible across Wisconsin, Michigan, and nearby areas. On Tuesday, increasing heat and humidity could support additional afternoon thunderstorms. Strong wind gusts, heavy rainfall, and frequent lightning will be the primary threats. Boaters on Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and Lake Erie should remain especially alert, as thunderstorms can develop quickly and create hazardous conditions with little warning. Regional weather forecast, Central Plains. Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and surrounding areas will remain hot and humid. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms may develop across portions of the region. On Tuesday afternoon and evening, daytime heating combined with moisture could trigger additional strong thunderstorms. Some storms may produce damaging wind gusts, hail, and locally heavy rainfall. The tornado threat is expected to remain relatively limited overall, but an isolated tornado cannot be completely ruled out if storms become sufficiently organized. Regional weather forecast, Southwest. The Southwest will remain very hot and mostly dry across the desert areas. Arizona, Nevada, and southeastern California will generally see clear to mostly clear skies tonight. On August 18th, temperatures across desert valleys will remain extremely high, with many locations reaching 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Isolated thunderstorms may develop over higher terrain in Arizona and New Mexico. These storms could produce lightning, localized heavy rainfall, and strong outflow winds. Some storms may also generate dry lightning and dangerous wind gusts in areas receiving little rainfall. Regional weather forecast, Rockies. Tonight, conditions will remain relatively quiet across much of the Rockies, although isolated mountain thunderstorms may continue. On Tuesday, afternoon thunderstorms once again will be possible across Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. Small hail, gusty winds, lightning, and locally heavy rainfall will be the primary hazards. Temperatures across many valleys and foothill communities will remain above average. Regional weather forecast, Northwest. High pressure will continue to dominate the Pacific Northwest, maintaining mostly dry and sunny conditions. Washington, Oregon, and Idaho will generally experience clear skies tonight. On Tuesday, temperatures across inland areas will remain elevated, with many locations reaching the upper 80s and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, while some areas could approach 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Continued hot and dry conditions will increase wildfire concerns, particularly across eastern Washington, eastern Oregon, and other areas with dry vegetation.
Regional weather forecast, West Coast. Along the California coast, marine clouds and fog will continue during the overnight and early morning hours. Inland areas will remain considerably warmer. On August 18th, California's Central Valley could once again reach the upper 90s to lower 100s. Interior valleys of Oregon and Northern California will also remain hot. Coastal communities will remain noticeably cooler, but temperatures will increase rapidly farther inland. Regional weather forecast, Alaska. Weather across Alaska will remain variable. Scattered showers are possible across parts of western and central Alaska tonight, while southeastern Alaska should experience more periods of dry weather. On Tuesday, rain and showers may continue across portions of northern and western Alaska. Temperatures will generally remain much more comfortable than across the southern United States. Regional weather forecast, Hawaii. Tropical storm Lala has continued moving westward away from the main Hawaiian Islands. As a result, the direct threat from strong tropical storm force winds is decreasing. However, some lingering showers, elevated surf, and dangerous rip currents may continue in parts of Hawaii. Residents and visitors should continue following local marine and coastal advisories until conditions fully improve. 24-hour forecast. Over the next 24 hours, the primary weather threats across the United States will be strong thunderstorms across the Central Plains, Midwest, and Great Lakes, tropical showers and thunderstorms across Florida, the Southeast, and the Gulf Coast, and dangerous heat across the Southwest and Western United States. Along the coastal waters of Florida, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Southeast, thunderstorms could produce sudden, strong wind gusts, lightning, reduced visibility, and locally rough seas. Across the Great Lakes, rapidly developing thunderstorms could also create hazardous conditions for small boats. 5 to 7 day forecast. During the next 5 to 7 days, the United States will continue to experience a sharp contrast between hot and dry conditions across the west and warm, humid, stormy weather across the central and eastern states. Additional rounds of thunderstorms may develop from the plains through the Midwest and Great Lakes. The Southeast, Florida, and the Gulf Coast will continue to experience frequent afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Meanwhile, high pressure will maintain above-average temperatures across much of the West. Across the Atlantic, attention will gradually increase as tropical waves move westward. However, there is currently not enough confidence to say that any particular disturbance will become a named storm or threaten the U.S. coastline. Tropical cyclone potential, next 7 to 10 days. The Atlantic will be the area to watch most closely. A tropical wave is currently moving through the eastern tropical Atlantic and is expected to continue westward. If the disturbance encounters favorable ocean temperatures, increasing moisture, and lower vertical wind shear, it could gradually become better organized. However, it is still too early to determine whether this system will become a tropical depression or tropical storm. The Caribbean, Bahamas, and waters south of the United States will also need close monitoring as additional tropical disturbances could develop. The Gulf of Mexico remains particularly important because very warm water and abundant moisture can support rapid development if a sufficiently organized disturbance enters the region. In the eastern Pacific, additional disturbances may develop offshore of Mexico, but there is currently no reliable indication of a direct threat to California. Across Hawaii and the central Pacific, the direct threat from Lala is decreasing, but tropical activity will continue to be monitored throughout the remainder of hurricane season. Threat level for the United States. Hawaii is now at a decreasing threat level as Lala moves farther west, although lingering marine hazards may continue. The Central Plains, Midwest, and Great Lakes remain at an elevated weather risk because of potential strong thunderstorms, damaging wind gusts, heavy rain, and hail. The Southeast, Florida, and Gulf Coast remain on alert for hot and humid conditions, frequent thunderstorms, heavy rain, and localized flooding. The Northeast faces a lower but ongoing threat from scattered thunderstorms and isolated strong wind gusts. The Southwest and Western United States remain under concern for dangerous heat, wildfire conditions, and gusty thunderstorm outflows.
The Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico will require increasing attention over the next 7 to 10 days as tropical disturbances potentially become more organized. In summary, during the overnight hours of August 17th and throughout Tuesday, August 18th, 2026, the United States is not facing a widespread direct tropical cyclone threat. The most immediate concerns are strong thunderstorms across parts of the central and eastern United States, tropical downpours across Florida and the southeast, and dangerous heat across the west. Over the coming days, attention will increasingly shift toward the tropical Atlantic, Caribbean, Bahamas, and Gulf of Mexico. A tropical wave is being monitored in the eastern Atlantic, but it is still too early to determine whether it will become a tropical depression or tropical storm, or eventually threaten the U.S. coastline. This is Hurricane and Storm Center. We will continue monitoring the latest data from NOAA, the National Hurricane Center, and the National Weather Service, and bring you updates as conditions evolve. Stay weather aware, stay prepared, and thank you for watching Hurricane and Storm Center.
A critical hurricane is approaching. Flooding and tornadoes are devastating. Wildfires are spreading everywhere. We provide fast and accurate updates. Your hurricane and